this is Mr. S, and today we're going to be covering the quotient of powers property. So if you watched our last video, as I know, even though the title does sound a bit harrowing, it's actually a very easy lesson. It's very easy to do this. So let's go ahead and jump straight in with our first example. Our first example is going to be 7 to the 9th power being divided by 7 to the 3rd power. So essentially what we're going to do here is we're doing the opposite of what we did in our last equation, in our last lesson. So we're going to be doing basically 7 to the 9th power, and then instead of adding it, we're going to be subtracting it by 3. And as you know, 9 minus 3 equals 6, so the answer is going to be 7 to the 6th power. Easy peasy. Let's do another example. Let's say we have h to the 7th power over h to the 6th power. And as you know, even though these are variables, we don't even need to know what the base number is. We're really paying attention to the variables here. So we're going to keep on going. So as you know, this is going to round out to being h to these, well, not really to the power. We're just going to do h, and then we're going to subtract 7 minus 6. And as we know, 7 minus 6 equals 1. So it's just going to be h to the 1st power or just h. Either of these would be the correct answer. For our next example, it's going to be just a step harder, just a little bit harder. So what I mean by that is this equation is going to be 3 to the 4th power times 3 to the 2nd power over 3 to the 3rd power. So these types of equations are very interesting because they merge what we learned in the last lesson and also what we just learned just now in our last equation, in our last example. So let's go ahead. So the very first thing you're going to do is simplify what's going on the top here. So it's 3 to the 4th power times 3 to the 2nd power. So instead of multiplying the bases, you're really just adding the exponents. So what that's going to look like is, what's 4 plus 2? 6. So it's going to be 3 to the 6th power, and then we're just going to bring over this denominator. It's going to be 3 to the 3rd power. Then after this, it's what we just did in our last example, where we just subtract the two exponents. So what's 6 minus 3? That's going to be 3. So our main answer is going to be 3 to the 3rd power. Very, very, very easy. Let's do another example. So I'm going to just flip it all the way upside down. I'm going to do 2 to the 15th power. And then for our denominator this time, we're going to have 2 to the 3rd power times 2 to the 5th power. So very, very easy. We're going to do exactly what we did before. We're first going to look at the denominator. You always deal with what's being multiplied first when you get an equation like this. So first we're going to look at the denominator. So obviously, and we're going to look at the variables. We're not even looking at the bases. We're mainly focusing on the variables. 3 plus 5 equals 8. So it's going to be 2 to the 8th power. And then we're going to bring over the numerator, 2 to the 15th power. So then we just go ahead and subtract. So 15 minus 8 equals, I believe, 7? Yes, 7. So our answer is going to be 2 to the 7th power. And that is all there is to it. So for our last example, we're essentially going to be doing the same exact thing, except it's going to be even harder. However, we're all brilliant here, so I know we're going to be able to do it easily, easy, easy, easy. So here's what it's going to look like. It's going to be negative 4 to the 9th power over negative 4. Oh, don't forget to put the parentheses around them. Negative 4 to the 5th power. And then we're going to be multiplying that by negative 4 to the 8th power over negative 4 to the 2nd power. So as you can imagine, it's very, very easy. All you're going to do is subtract the variables, and then you're going to multiply at the end. So let's see what that looks like. So let's do this one first. What's 9 minus 3? That obviously equals 6. So that's going to be, actually, I just want to write it out step by step by step. So here's how I'm going to write it out, actually. I'm going to write it out like negative 4. And we're going to be doing 9 minus 3 times negative 4. And as you can imagine, we're going to be doing 8 minus 2. I just want to make sure I write out all the steps so we can perfectly see exactly how to answer this type of question. So let's keep on going. So obviously, what's 9 minus 3? That's going to equal 6. And then what's 8 minus 2? That also equals 6. So then, as you may imagine, when we get to this point, all you got to do is just add the two variables because we're multiplying. So 6 plus 6 equals 12. So that means our grand answer is going to be -4 to the 12th power. So that was a lot. So I want to do another example just like this. I hope I have this space. So we're going to do a to the 10th power over a to the 6th power that we're going to multiply. We're going to do a to the 7th power over a to the 4th power. So as you can imagine, we're going to do exactly what we did in our last example, in our last equation, I should say. So we're going to do a, and we're going to do 10 minus 6 times a, and we're going to do 7 minus 4. So let's keep on going. So obviously, what's 10 minus 6? That's going to equal 4. So a to the 4th power. Then what's 7 minus 4? That equals 3. So it's going to be a to the 3rd power. That a kind of looks like a 9 a little bit. So yeah. So now, last but not least, we're going to add these two variables because we're multiplying. So what's 4 plus 3? That equals 7. So our grand answer is going to be a to the 7th power. Very, very easy. I know you can do it. For our last section of the video, it's going to be your do-it-yourself portion, where you're going to answer each of these equations by yourself. You're going to do, so beware, this is a decimal. This one's a little high. This is a decimal. So this is 4.2 to the 6th power over 4.2 to the 5th power. And then over here, we have, now this is the multiplication sign. We have m to the 8th power times n to the 6th power over m to the 5th power. And then down here, these are also multiplication signs. We have p to the 3rd power times p to the 6th power over p to the 2nd power times p to the 4th power over just p. So as you see, I didn't really show you how to answer a question like this, but I feel like you're smart enough. I want you to try to do it yourself, and then let's see if you get it correct. I'm going to give 3 seconds for you to pause it and then answer all these by yourself. And then when you're finished answering, come back so you can see how to answer correctly. So 1, 2, 3. All right, so by now you should have already answered all 3 of the equations, so let's dive right in. So this is obviously very easy. We're just gonna disregard the base numbers here and just really look at the exponents. So as you can imagine, 6 minus 5 equals 1. So our grand answer is going to be 4.2 to the 1st power, or it could just be 4.2. If you put 4.2 to the 1st power, just 4.2 would be correct. Then over here, as we know, it's m to the 8th power times m to the 6th power over m to the 5th power. All you're going to do is first you're going to multiply these two numbers, or basically add the two variables. So 8 plus 6, I believe that's 14. So it's going to be m to the 14th power over m to the 5th power. And then as we know, we're just going to subtract from here. So 14 minus 5, that sounds like 9. So our grand answer is going to be m to the 9th power. Yes. So, and last but not least, we're going to answer this hardest equation. So I really hope you guys really thought about it and that you guys follow exactly what I do. So here's what I'm going to first do. First, I'm going to work on this section up here and rewrite the whole entire equation. So p to the 3rd power times p to the 6th power. All you're going to do is add these two variables. 3 plus 6 equals 9. So I'm going to rewrite the whole entire equation. Just put p to the 9th power over p to the 2nd power times p to the 4th power over just p. So now we keep on going. So I'm going to first rewrite the equation one more time, but we're just going to rewrite it, just showing what exactly is going to happen with the variables. So it's going to be p and then 9 minus 2 times p. And is it going to be 4 minus 0 or 4 minus 1? I hope you put 4 minus 1 because it's going to be p and 4 minus 1. So now let's keep on answering. So obviously, what's 9 minus 2? That equals 7. So p to the 7th power. So p to the 7th power. And then what's 4 minus 1? That's obviously going to equal 3. So it's going to be p to the 3rd power. So then since we're multiplying, we're going to add these two variables. What's 7 plus 3? 10. So therefore, our grand answer is going to be p to the 10th power. I hope you guys all learned how to divide or basically subtracts variables, and how to follow the quotient of powers rule. Hope you guys have a great day, and God bless.